Welcome to Say More, the podcast where we expand the conversation around what it means to be human. I'm Andy Spray, and I'm here with my co-host, Emily Lawyer, licensed professional counselor. We're answering your real questions, and while we're at it, creating a community where we can grow together and learn how to connect more to self in order to connect more to others and more to God. Hello.
We're here.
Big day. Oh, jinx. Big day. Why is it a big day?
We have reached the end of season 3.
We did episode 30. That's wild.
Give me a minute just to take it in.
Okay, take it in. We're at the end of season 3. We have done 30 episodes. Mm-hmm. How you feel about that?
I feel a lot of ways. But first of all, I want to applaud everyone in the Say More community for making it to the end of another season with us.
Yes.
Big props.
Pat yourself on the back.
Pat yourself on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Right, all that. Now, I also want to step on my soapbox for a second.
Get on there.
If you'll permit me. Often, I think we can listen to podcasts and hear insights and think, that's good, right? Oh, that's a deep insight. That's an amazing, this is great insight that I'm getting. And gaining awareness is one of the stages of change that we've talked about. It's important. It's vital, in fact. It's an early step in the change process. If it stops there, though, we run the risk, if all I do is I keep collecting more and more insights, we run the risk of letting our intellect camouflage our immaturity.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
We run the risk of letting our intellect camouflage our immaturity. I will own that this happens very often in faith communities. And when we camouflage our immaturity in faith communities, often we're camouflaging it with our level of insight or spirituality.
Sure, our knowledge of Scripture, our ways that we pray,
and
things
we
like that.
have a lot of listeners who are part of a faith community too. That has using that to camouflage my own immaturity has definitely been part of my story. It's important that I fess up to that. Maybe for some of you listening, you are desperate for someone to fess up to that. Maybe your story involves significant hurt as a result of someone letting their spirituality camouflage their immaturity. Now, if you've joined the Say More community, my guess is you want something different for yourself. My guess is you want something different from others. You're someone who wants to be able to live out what you believe, that wants to be able to live out what you value. And you're learning that in this podcast, we're not just about gaining more content or just about gaining more knowledge. We also wrestle with hard truths and we courageously try new skills. And all that together results in actual change, actual character development, actual formation and maturity. And that's what we're working together to do in this community. That's what we're trying to cultivate. When you do that, you need people walking alongside you to cheer you on. You need people to practice with you in real time, including me and Andy. There are more and more of you joining us on this endeavor every day, so welcome.
Yes, we are so glad you're here with us.
And it's been so heartening.
You've been here from the beginning, or maybe you're a new follow. Either way, we are so glad that you are with us for the learning and growing that we're all doing together.
Yeah. Amazing.
I sometimes like to give listener gold stars.
Oh, we love that.
And I'm going to give a listener gold star this morning. I don't even know how, maybe a few months ago, earlier in season 3, I had talked about our teen listeners, how sometimes some of the neighborhood kids are like, Mrs. Spray, we heard your podcast. My mom called me and she said, hey, what about the elderly listeners?
Oh, good.
So this is a gold star for the aged among you who are listening. My mom being the shining example of somebody.
She is.
I tell her, I'm like, it is amazing your growth mindset. That she clearly did not grow up with any of this. And that she goes, you taught me so much. And it was like you were saying in your episode on shame. And she'll repeat something back to me. And we were on the phone recently. And, she listened. I listened to every episode. And she said, you guys have a new one coming out? And I said, yeah, Monday we got a new episode coming out. She goes, what's the topic? I said, pornography. I said, Mom, You don't have to listen to that one. She goes, yes, I do. I listen to every Say More episode, and we don't avoid things just because they're difficult.
That's right.
So if my mom can listen to the pornography episode and learn about arousal templates, you can too.
You just said those things in the same sentence.
Yes, I did. And bless her, she tries to share it with her friends. If you've never opened the podcast app, it's a little hard.
The learning curve is a bit steeper.
It's a bridge too far for some of them, but she tells them all about it. And then she tells me about telling them about it.
That's amazing.
She is doing her part for the older community of listeners who are still growing, still learning, still striving to be the most mature, healed version of themselves. And I think
what an inspiring community to be part of for so many people in so many different walks of life and in so many different ages and stages, to be all of us working together.
And that's the point. It's for everybody.
It is.
It's not for moms of a certain age.
No.
It's not just for young adults who are learning. It's not for women or men. It's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
Anybody who wants to grow and cares about growth and maturity, it's for you.
Yes.
That's the answer. So gold stars, that's my gold star. Also, I know we're doing a lot of housekeeping here, but also with the end of season 3, we're doing something kind of fun in our mid-season break or between season break. So season 4 will be coming. We had a friend tell us, she's like, I loved season 1. It was amazing. I listened to every episode, and then you took a break and I forgot it existed. And she never turned it back on again. So that gave us an idea.
It did.
Something that other podcasts do, which is re-release episodes. So we're going to have a little rerun special.
Yeah, Say More Encore.
Say More Encore, if you will. So after this, there will still be a steady release of episodes in the downtime while we are taking a break between seasons. And re-releasing some crowd favorites.
Some crowd favorites.
And some of our favorites.
Yes, some of the ones that you have found the most helpful, most popular. So we're excited about that too.
Yes. So looking forward to Say More Encore coming right after this, because that'll be the next episode will be an encore episode. Listen, last episode of season 3, we weren't going to leave without a game.
We couldn't.
We couldn't leave without a game.
It's our trademark.
We could have just chit-chatted about our business, but no, we have to have a game. We're talking about reactivity today.
Yes.
And reactivity is, and Emily's going to share and explain and teach us, it's related to anxiety.
Yes.
So we're going to play a little game called Nervous Giggles. Okay? I already got her.
She did.
Okay? Nervous Giggles. Because you know when you're feeling nervous and you laugh inappropriately, which I totally do. And my son thought I was lying about something, but the more nervous I made him, the more it made me laugh.
And the more you try to stifle the nervous giggle, the more you giggle.
So what I really, in my dream world, we were going to play this game where you had water in your mouth. Yeah. And I would try and get you to react. But one, this is a purely audio medium.
Right.
Right. Nobody could see your spit take. Where's the fun in that? And then 2, expensive podcast microphones and spitting out water. Maybe not. So we're going to play a game, Nervous Giggles. And the game is we are each going to go back and forth saying something about ourselves.
About ourselves.
And if the other person laughs, that means it's true.
Okay. So we're going to say something about ourselves. If the other person laughs,
it's true.
Or giggles, it means it's true.
That's right.
It means you believe it's true.
That's right.
All right.
You go first.
Here's the thing. You are difficult to get. You have a very high standard.
Yeah, I don't laugh very much.
No, which is why we love your finely tuned wit.
Well, thank you.
So I don't know how these are going to land. I had to be quite vulnerable in order to see if I could get you to giggle.
Okay.
So let's see what happens.
Did you ever play that youth group game where it'd be like, I bet you can't laugh, and someone would try and make you laugh? I always won that game.
Of course you did.
They didn't make me laugh.
Right. But this is also going to reveal something about our friendship and actually what you really, truly believe about me.
Okay. We're getting messy.
Okay.
What if we get in a big fight after this? It's all content for you guys. All opportunities. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
You go first.
True story. Just 2 weeks ago, I got lost in a bathroom.
Okay.
She's smiling.
I'm smiling. I am smiling because your ability to get lost is very high.
It's way up there.
But a bathroom doesn't feel... I'm just going to give it a smile and not a laugh.
I tried 2 different doors before I found the door that was the exit.
First of all, what kind of bathroom is this?
It was just a regular bathroom.
That had multiple doors?
Yes. And I, with my horrible sense of direction, tried all of the wrong ones before I could actually leave. And I'd only been in there for, 2 minutes?
I should have given that a hearty guffaw. Emily really, truly gets lost.
Couldn't find
her
my way.
sense of direction is
Couldn't
very
find my
low.
way out of a barn.
I thought perhaps my faith in you was that a bathroom you could handle.
No, that's why I said I was being quite vulnerable to divulge it. Okay.
Okay, mine's not a story. Mine's just a fact.
Okay.
I talk too much.
I'm not laughing at that.
What?
No.
I talk way more than you.
That doesn't mean you talk too much.
Oh, okay. I thought that one might get you.
This is turning into a kumbaya love circle.
It's not meant to. I did not mean it to.
Okay. Want to try again?
Yeah.
Here we go. I could stand to wear stretch pants less often. Yay! I got her on that one.
Now listen. Stretch pants lie to us. And it's good to occasionally, for all of us. This is good advice for all of us. I, too, have been too much in the stretchy pants. I have no problem with you wearing stretchy pants.
No, I know. But clearly, the way I worded that, you believe it's true. I like this game.
Yeah. Okay. You're a better driver than me.
Yeah.
I knew you thought that.
We might. Shoot. I'm exposed. Only because
I knew she thought that.
I'm a very, very cautious driver. Maybe overly cautious. Yes. Correct?
Well, you didn't ask me that, but I would have laughed because yes. I'm less cautious.
Yes.
Which is why I hit potholes and things fall off my car when we're driving.
I don't know that I would categorize that as you being a better driver. I think I'm just more of a cautious driver.
You are more of a cautious driver. I don't think I'm a bad driver, but I'm definitely less
cautious.
Than you, and I knew you'd clocked it.
We've been in a car together many, many times.
Many times.
I've never once been scared when I've been riding in a car with you.
Well, thank you.
If that's something for you to take with you.
Yeah, I don't really feel insecure about it, but I just, because of how cautious you are, I thought she's probably been thinking, Andy could stand to be a little more cautious, which is true.
Take a beat. Okay, here we go, finishing up. If given the option, you would rather a total stranger take a picture of you than me.
I'm going to laugh. Ha, ha, ha. Yes, we were just... at my kids.
She has snatched the phone out of my hands before. Emily, not
like
turn
that.
it the other way, Emily. I'm no good at it. I don't have an eye. I don't have an artist eye like you do.
She's no good. I'm sorry.
You're so good at it.
I mean, it's just an iPhone picture, but I wanted a family shot, and we were at a little gathering at our house. I said to my husband, I'm like, I don't know who to ask.
Not Emily.
I was like, Emily, my parents.
Both of those are bad options.
I was like, I don't know who's worse. We ended up with a good picture, but I didn't ask you.
Of course you didn't. Why would you? I can own that.
Okay.
Okay,
Here's my last one. You're worried about my brain.
No, I'm not laughing. In fact, you saw me just now. I really pondered.
You thought about it.
I was considering.
Okay.
No.
Well, what I mean by that is I was hoping the wording would make you laugh. But what I mean by that is sometimes there will be like concerning gaps in my memory. See, this is getting her to laugh.
We just had one of these.
That's why I thought of it. Yes.
2 days ago.
And you looked at me with deep concern in your face. It was actually podcast related.
It was podcast
And you go,
related.
our last episode on values. And I said, huh? You go, literally the last episode we recorded. I go, on what? You said, on values. The topic was values. We just recorded it a week ago. And I said, I don't remember that.
No, zero recollection. I could see it in your eyes. It was a blank stare.
So I thought perhaps there would be some concern. You're just too compassionate because you're like, well, you've been through a lot.
Yes.
It would make sense.
Confusion is a better fit than worried.
Confusion.
Yes, that's a better fit than worried in that scenario.
You know what? This has been our inaugural visit with Nervous Giggles. This might be one we have to come back to because I think we've learned some things about each other.
We sure have.
And perhaps what we think about each other. And in the spirit of that, let's get into our question of the week.
Here we go.
All right. For our last question of season 3, I'm going to head and read this one. This one came in from a listener. It says, I want to connect on a deeper level with the Holy Spirit, but the quote noise is so distracting that I feel like I'm just constantly putting out fires rather than fanning the faith flame. Any advice?
Any advice? Let's start with breaking down the question a little bit because it uses some Christianese terminology. Basically, this question is saying, I want to be able to be more present in my relationships. I want to be able to connect more fully, more deeply in my relationship, in this question, in my relationship with God in particular. And there are all these fires around me that demand I pay attention to them instead of paying attention to my relationships. My guess is that most of us can relate to that scenario, whether we consider ourselves Christian or not. Maybe you have noticed that something is distracting you from your relationships because maybe what's tipped you off is you're noticing that you're feeling more lonely recently. Maybe you've become aware that something is distracting you from your relationships because people have directly told you. Your partner or your child or your friend has said, hey, I can't connect with you the way that I want to because you're always focusing on something else, which is that's a hard truth to hear, right? That's a painful truth to hear.
Hard.
Or maybe you've noticed something is distracting you because you're feeling some pain, some disappointment, some guilt even, some fear that is saying, man, I really value these relationships in my life, but something powerful is in charge of me instead of my values being in charge of me or my good thinking being in charge of me. And it is leading me away from what I actually value and where I do want to spend most of my time. This is a problem for me, but I don't know what to do about it. Okay, so in this episode, we're going to use the word reactivity to describe that issue that we just outlined. Reactivity is something that's familiar for all of us. It's what we're all accustomed to, whether we realize it or not. It feels safer, even if it cost me something. So, to finish up season 3, let's say more about reactivity.
All right, you've already kind of started giving us a definition of reactivity, but break it down.
Break it down a little bit more.
What does that even mean?
Okay, I'm going to quote one of the OGs of modern psychology. His name is Dr. Murray Bowen.
Oh.
He was an innovator in the field and has helped us learn so much about reactivity. He defines emotional reactivity as an automatic, instinctual response to stress or anxiety, where behavior is driven by emotions rather than thoughtful intellect. Okay, I'm going to reread that.
Yeah.
Reactivity is an automatic, instinctual response to anxiety, which results in our behavior being driven by emotions rather than thoughtful intellect. It's simply a reaction to either a perceived or a real threat or danger. As our question named it, it's a reaction to a fire that needs to be put out immediately. Now, back in season 1, we had an episode about what anxiety is. Reactivity is what anxiety does. It's anxiety's calling card.
So then does reactivity, mainly or only happen to people who have an anxiety disorder or who quote unquote struggle with anxiety?
Say they struggle with anxiety. Yeah, great question. We might even have some people right now saying, well, I don't have anxiety, Emily, so this doesn't pertain to me.
Who's saying that?
Listen, you and I have both confessed
I didn't know I did.
on this very podcast that we would say over and over again, I don't have anxiety, because we masked it so well.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Okay.
So also remember, yes, in season 1, we talked about that. We named, believe it or not, everyone experiences anxiety, just not everyone experiences anxiety the same way.
Sure.
Right? We tend to have a more narrow understanding or picture of what anxiety looks like. Like it's a panic attack, or it's someone who's super nervous or super shaky all the time. It's actually much more insidious, and it shows up in all sorts of ways that maybe we don't recognize, because every single human being's nervous system is scanning 24/7 for threat, real or perceived, and finding it. It's scanning for threat and it's finding it. It's scanning both outside of me 24/7 and inside of me 24/7. Where is there danger?
And that's everybody?
Everybody.
Okay.
It's 24/7. Our nervous systems are scanning where is there danger and where is there safety, both outside and inside of me. What registers to danger as me might not register as danger to you. What registers as safety to me might not register as safety to you. So we all have a different level of anxiety at any given moment. But to say I don't experience anxiety at all, it would be saying my amygdala is not working. That's just not possible. Now, I could just keep trucking along in life at the mercy of my amygdala, or at the mercy of these threat safety reactions. Or I could grow my capacity to notice what's going on. I could grow my capacity to do something differently when I notice. I can grow a better chance of working with the real issue and showing up differently in my relationships. So let's maybe keep going with, let's grow our ability of how anxiety itself operates. Some of these lesser known ways that maybe we wouldn't have noticed before, but maybe we can grow our ability to notice that.
Well, how does it operate?
How can we tell?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to camp out here for a little while. So get settled in.
All right.
Everybody. This is the hard-facing reality from the front portion of the program. Okay. You're going to hear these, and you're going to say, holy moly, Emily, anxiety is everywhere. Precisely my point.
Okay.
Okay. And we want to grow our skill at being able to notice that so that we can do something differently with it if we want to. Also remember, let's bring some compassion. All these things that we're going to talk about are just signs that my nervous system is trying to keep me safe.
Okay.
So we're going to take a very compassionately curious approach, right? Non-judgmental. These are all just ways that our nervous systems are trying to keep us safe.
So you're going to share with us some ways that anxiety may be showing up that we haven't recognized as being anxiety?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Because we're thinking, if I don't have a panic attack, that I didn't experience anxiety. And you're saying, here's some ways you might not have noticed.
We might not have noticed.
Got it.
Some ways that we can tell that anxiety is present or that it's ramped up.
Ooh, ramped up. Okay.
Either in myself, in the relationship, in the family, in the workplace, in the church, in the friend group. Here we go. First up, anxiety is other-focused. Now, I don't mean other-focused in a generous, sacrificial way.
Yeah.
I mean focused more on others so I can control them so that I can feel okay. Anxiety says, pay attention to other people instead of what's happening for me so that I can control them, so that I can be okay. Anxiety says outsource my sense of feeling okay by controlling another person first. And it doesn't just focus, it uses hyper focus on others. It says to monitor even the most slight change in mood or the slightest change in facial expression or behavior, and then believe that it's my job to fix it immediately.
Okay.
That is one of the biggest ways that we can tell anxiety is present.
Okay.
Anxiety, it manifests as an overwhelming urge to control things that we can't.
Okay, which include other people.
Other people. It's us trying to do God-sized work with human capacity.
Okay.
I am not God, but there is something in me when anxiety ramps up that is constantly telling me that I can be or that I need to be.
Have to be.
It loves to believe it can control things we actually have no control over. Remember when we caused a bit of a ruckus in our responsibility episode by naming that we actually don't have control over another person's emotions or beliefs? That we kind of enter into a false sense of control. There's an illusion of control that we enter into, but we don't actually have control over someone else's mind and body. Anxiety tells me I do have control.
Okay. And that I should take control.
and that absolutely take control. Anxiety also says hurry instead of slow down. Is that not every single aspect of every single thing in our world?
Is that me driving versus you driving?
Well, I mean, here's what's interesting.
Could be,
here's what we're going to learn, right? Is that my overly cautious self could be also a reaction to anxiety within me. But anxiety says now instead of wait. Anxiety makes everything feel urgent, right? If I don't do it now, everything is going to go up in flames. All these fires around me, to our question, need to be put out immediately, or everything is going to get burned up. Or if I don't do it now, it's never going to happen. Anxiety distorts the stakes that way. So for that reason, it does prefer doing over being. It has to be now instead of wait. Because if everything is at stake, why in the world would I pause or wait or not spring into immediate action? Forget taking a breath. Forget slowing it down and thinking a little harder about what I want to do. There is danger now.
Yeah.
Now. You got to move now.
Urgent, urgent, urgent.
Urgent, urgent, urgent. Okay, let's turn up the power on our microscope. We're going to look at some that are even a little sneakier. Let's say that I am the leader of an organization, and outwardly, I always show up cool as a cucumber, okay? And everyone says, wow, she is never anxious. Look at her. She definitely has no anxiety. But the way I go about making decisions as the leader can be quite illuminating when it comes to my actual level of anxiety. For example, I can present very calm outwardly, but if I'm mainly concerned in my role with the solution, or if I'm mainly concerned with a circumstance changing, or if I'm mainly concerned with just moving on to the next thing, anxiety is very much at work in all of those. Anxiety has trouble pausing to self-reflect. Anxiety has trouble pausing to learn or be curious or gather more data. Anxiety has trouble pausing to even fully enjoy or celebrate accomplishments.
Okay.
Or completing.
It's just always on to the next thing.
It's always on to the next thing. Anxiety has a lot of trouble pausing to grieve.
Oh.
Maybe there was some things that happened that went wrong. Anxiety says, don't pay any attention to that. Just let's focus on the circumstance. Let's keep going. Let's just move on to the next thing. When an anxious self is already on to the next task, back to our question, stillness and practicing the presence of God is nearly impossible. We might also recognize that anxiety is at play when we have trouble zooming out and looking at functioning of a larger system. This can happen in the workplace, that can happen in families, can happen in churches. When we find ourselves wanting to zero in on a villain or zero in on a specific person or zero in on a specific problem instead of being able to say, hey, let me take a breath, let's pause, let's zoom out, let's get a better picture of the whole thing. This shows up a lot in families and in parenting.
So explain that more when you say zoom in on a specific person.
Let's say, for example, that a child in a family is exhibiting big behaviors or big emotions. Anxiety says to zero in on just fixing the child.
Oh, I see.
Okay, and again, we're bringing a tremendous amount of compassion to this because this is just the way as humans that we try to steady things when anxiety ramps up. But often in a situation like that, the child's presentation is the siren on the ambulance. right? So we may not necessarily want to put all our energy into just getting the siren to stop wailing.
What's the reason that the ambulance is there anyways?
Right.
Yeah,
if we just put all of our energy on zeroing in on that's the only problem that we're working with, that may be alerting us to some bigger systemic dynamics, and that's going to go unnoticed if I'm letting anxiety run the show.
Right. Mikey's behavior is a symptom of a system.
Something that's much bigger.
Okay, rather than just isolated.
Correct. And if we use that with our question again, anxiety cannot say, okay, hold on a second. Why do all these fires keep popping up around me? What's causing that? Let's reflect.
Yeah.
Let's take stock. Let's collect some data. We assumed X was causing the fires, but maybe there's more to the story. Are we involved in the fires? Is there anything that I'm doing that's contributing to these fires that keep popping up over and over and over? Anxiety won't allow that type of curiosity.
Is it me? Could I be the problem?
Me? Am I in some way involved in this? Anxiety won't allow us to pause and practice any of that curiosity. And then, like we were naming, we can end up missing some bigger pieces of the puzzle. And then we find ourselves really frustrated that we're just spinning our wheels over and over again when it's because anxiety is running the show.
It's like the Simpsons meme I sent you a week ago about Principal Skinner.
Oh, yes.
And he's like, am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
That's exactly
because I can't actually stop and think, wait, is there something I am contributing to or part of it? No, they're wrong, so let's just fix it.
Principal Skinner, even in his deadpan delivery, lots of anxiety under the surface there, right. Principal Skinner.
Right now I'm picking up on anxiety in TV shows and sending you clips to say, look what I found.
So anxiety says pay attention to something else, and we end up missing some of the deeper or more important things that might need to be addressed. Okay, anxiety also prefers rigidity rather than flexibility. It prefers to view things as all or nothing, black or white, rather than gray or having messy complexity. Anxiety likes simple, certain, one-dimensional solutions instead of recognizing, okay, there's some complexity here. This is a multifaceted problem that we're working with. Just as a bonus, this is one sneaky area where I think anxiety shows up a lot in Christian faith practices, because we often get distracted by focusing on the certainty in our faith practices. Am I doing it right? Am I following God's will perfectly? But I think that's anxiety distracting us from the bigger end game, which is being loved by God, right? Being in relationship with God, as our question named.
Sort of like the certainty of our, I don't know if behavior, but the certainty of our expression of faith is sort of where we're placing some security.
Where we place a lot of security.
And you're saying that that's really a function of anxiety.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. And it's not that, those things aren't important, but if I find myself putting all of my importance in that, putting all of my effort and energy in that, it could be that it's distracting us from the bigger picture, which is being in relationship, being loved by God. And anxiety likes to get certainty using any manner it can think of. It likes to use assumptions to get a sense of certainty. It likes to use past experiences and projecting it on to a new experience to get certainty. It likes to use codependency, meaning I overfunction for someone else or I underfunction and let someone else own what's mine to own. Anxiety loves to get a sense of certainty by using that. Anytime any of those things are happening, it's a clue that anxiety is at play. If I can't say, anxiety can't say, is this actually my responsibility to put out this fire? Is this fire actually in my yard or is it in somebody else's yard?
Is there even a fire?
Is there even a fire, or am I perceiving it to be a fire, right? In fact, anxiety blurs boundary lines of responsibility so much, we might even call anxiety contagious. It travels. It's like a game of hot potato.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with my anxiety. Here, you take it. And then my own anxiety instinctually tells me to catch the hot potato, and then I'll probably just toss it to the next person in the circle. So we end up kind of passing it around, and that can be another way that we can notice, okay, anxiety is at play. Unless we do something different?
Unless we do something
differently.
And what is that?
How do we grow that capacity to do something different
Because when I catch a hot potato, what do I do?
There's going to be reactivity there.
Yeah. Don't I just throw it back at somebody else or throw it to the problem that I'm trying to solve or throw it to getting an answer?
Exactly.
What if I don't want to constantly be in that state? What do we do different?
What do I do? Okay. How do I grow so that I can put my energy where I really want, as our question asks? We're going to name it as being able to respond instead of react. Anxiety reacts.
Yeah.
A calm presence responds. So how can we practice growing the space between feeling the fear and reacting? How can we grow the space in between feeling the fear, the anxiety, the intensity of the anxiety, and then the reaction that automatically wants to come from that? Can I grow the space between the feeling of fear and what fear tells me to do? Can I grow the space between feeling and action? Can I grow my ability to tolerate sitting in the discomfort of anxiety, even for a beat longer, so that I can respond instead of react?
I was going to say it's kind of like increasing your distress tolerance.
That's exactly where we're going.
Because you feel that distress, and so you're like, I've immediately got to, like I said, put it on somebody else or fix something because I hate that distress feeling in my body.
Right. That's exactly.
And you're saying, can we stretch that even a beat longer?
Even just a millisecond longer is going to give us a better chance of being able to respond instead of react. Okay, so how do we grow that space? The first step to do that is just noticing when anxiety has ramped up.
Okay.
And we can use some of those clues that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe you notice, okay, I'm really hyper-focusing on this other person right now. Or maybe you notice I am believing distorted stakes right now. Everything feels all or nothing right now.
Oh, the all or nothing thing, that's interesting.
Everything feels really global right now.
Yeah.
It's always going to be this way. It's never going to change.
Right.
If I don't do it now, it'll never happen. Any of those can clue us into, okay, my anxiety is probably ramped up right now. Or maybe everything in me wants to fix this, and I am certain I'm the only one who can do it. Nobody else can fix this but me.
Sure.
I'm the woman for the job, and no other applicants need apply.
Right.
I am the only one who can do it. So we're just going to pause and name, wow, I must be feeling super anxious right now. We're just practicing name it, name it, name it.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, those of you in the Say More community who are Jesus followers, I know where you're going right now. You're going to a very popular passage, Philippians 4, 6, and 7, and you're saying, uh-oh, anxious, bad, shut it down. Stop. God's going to be angry with me. I'm not doing it right. Hold up. That's a very anxious reading of that passage.
How ironic.
Okay, let's pause. Let's slow down and let's zoom out and look at the whole chapter. Okay? First off, the writer starts the whole chapter by reminding the reader multiple times, you are so loved. You are beloved. It uses the word beloved twice. By me, the writer, and by God, you are so beloved, reader. Do you know what feeling loved brings to fear? Safety.
Yeah.
Relational safety. So that's whenever we're looking to grow that window, to grow that distress tolerance, name it, name it, name it. And then the passage continues, the Philippians 4, 6, and 7. It goes on to say about anxiety, it says, when you feel anxious, because you will, steward it so that you don't end up stuck in it by naming it, recognizing I'm in a state of anxiety, and then bringing it into relationship. Get to a felt sense of love and acceptance and safety while you're feeling the fear. Steward, instead of just trying to shut it down or avoid it or shame yourself out of it. Recognize it, name it, and then steward it by bringing it into safe relationship. Now, whether you feel loved and accepted through connecting to God or some other relationship, get there.
But you're saying that anxiety is you're scanning for threats, so you're feeling unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
And anxiety is telling us to get safety into all of these other ways.
Mm-hmm.
Get safety by controlling. Get safety, And you are saying the real way to get through anxiety is to get safety through relationships.
Correct. Loving and safe relationship. Now, my part, though, in that is I've got to recognize and own I'm feeling anxious right now.
Okay. First, acknowledging
yes.
it. And then getting safety.
And then I've got to bring that into relationship, whether it's with God or someone else. If I just try to shut it down and say, don't feel anxious, how in the world am I ever going to be able to own that and bring it into safe relationship?
Right.
So once we've brought some safety to that fear, now we can continue to grow that window of tolerance by practicing some self-reflection about the reactivity, about our reactive patterns. Just like with emotions, we can learn from our reactions. My reactions are telling me something, and I want to steward that well.
Okay.
Just like I want to steward what my emotions are telling me, I also want to steward the information I'm getting from my reactions. So let's practice some of those together, okay? Reactivity is a clue, and it's alerting me to an unmet relational need. So I might say, okay, here's my question that I'm going to use for self-reflection. Where did my reactivity go to manage the intensity of the moment?
Where did my reactivity go? So how did I react to manage the intensity
of the anxiety, to manage the intensity of the moment, to manage the intensity of the fear, to manage the intensity of the anxiety in my brain and my body? Because the anxious energy has to go somewhere.
Right.
Did it go to safe relationship or did it go somewhere else?
Okay.
What did I need to manage the intensity of the moment? What did I need to manage the intensity of seeing the email notification or text and not being able to immediately reply because I was driving? Did reactivity tell me to believe I could control something that I don't actually have control over to manage the intensity? Did it tell me to email them back immediately or text them back immediately so I could control how they're feeling or what they're believing about me, even though I'm driving and it's not a safe thing for me to immediately react? What did I need to manage the intensity of the moment when my spouse was telling me how sad and embarrassed they felt today during a hard moment? Did my reactivity say, okay, manage the intensity of the moment by telling my spouse what to feel or believe instead? Did my reactivity say, manage the intensity of the moment by shutting down or withdrawing from my spouse when they were being emotionally vulnerable with me? Did my reactivity manage my fear that my child was absolutely 100% going to fail by doing things for them that they could do for themselves?
I was thinking too, when you're parenting teenagers and your reactivity is just to tell them how they should feel.
How they should feel.
Yes. They come home saying, nobody likes me.
Right.
Yeah, everybody loves you.
Right.
You're the best. Right. You're the greatest kid there's ever been. What are you talking about?
Right. That is the perfect example. That is reactivity helping you manage the intensity of whatever you felt when your
something about that made me feel afraid and anxious.
Yes.
And so quick, I got to focus on you and control it because really I just feel awful inside when I hear my kids say that.
Correct. And, we, in that moment, ultimately, I want to be able to sit long enough with my child so they can bring that into safe relationship, right?
Yeah.
So did my reactivity tell me to manage the intensity of a colleague disagreeing with me in a work meeting by avoiding them or creating a narrative about them in my mind?
Sure.
You know, anxiety says the way to manage the intensity is just save all my energy for the imaginary conversations I'll have with them as I lie awake at night.
Sure. I'm so good at those.
Right? On the other side, maybe my reactivity lets someone manage me. Maybe my reactivity got me to have someone else carry my intensity by venting to them before I did any work to calm myself first.
Okay. Because, that's reactivity too, going across to the next office. And can you believe?
I'll just toss the anxiety hot potato to manage the intensity that I'm feeling.
Sure.
Did my reactivity have me do that? All of those are ways that we might use reactivity to manage the intensity of the moment. And we want to be aware. We want to be able to pause and practice some self-reflection so that we can own, oh, yeah, I did that. That was definitely my reaction was showing up there. Let's keep going by maybe asking some additional questions. Who are you most reactive with? I'm going to sit and let everybody pause for just a second. Which relationship does your reactivity show up the strongest? What situations does your reactivity show up the most? What type of relational context does your reactivity show up the most? Which of those scenarios that I outlined felt most familiar to you and where your reactivity tends to show up, where you tend to use those reactions to manage your anxiety? Now, we're probably all feeling a little bit exposed right now, right? This is amazing work, though. This is where we started in our episode today, why I wanted to commend everyone. Stepping out of reactivity and into transformation, it does reveal stuff.
Yeah.
And it feels scary. It exposes unhealed wounds. It exposes our triggers. It exposes our vulnerabilities. It's hard.
So is that what reflecting on those reactions and which ones are more common for us, is that what it's helping us understand, is our triggers?
It's helping us understand where we're triggered the most, where our vulnerabilities are showing up the most, where our unhealed wounds are showing up the most, which relational contexts those are going to show up the most. And I want to be aware of all that. I want to own that. And being able to face all of this from the front, yes, it does allow those things to be exposed, and it allows us to recognize, okay, I can do something different, though. Because I could avoid it. I could avoid all of this. I could just keep chasing what anxiety tells me to do. That is actually going to leave me increasingly more and more fragile because I'm never confronting the fear.
Right.
I'm never growing my window of tolerance with the fear. I'm never growing the space between feeling the fear and reacting. I'm just evading it, which is going to make my brain want to react even faster the next time.
Because I think in some scenarios you feel like, look at me doing a good job solving this thing. Right? Like you're not even viewing it as a function of anxiety.
Correct.
Look at me, I'm running the company and we're going to get to the next thing that's going to really help us or whatever it is. And you're like, eventually that's going to have a shelf life.
Yes.
And maybe if you're not feeling it now and you're still willing to ignore and, dig your heels in and move on, maybe that was going to work for a little bit, but that's not going to work long term.
At some point, right. It's going to become an unsustainable strategy.
And I think, what you're saying is, especially if this is showing up in our relationships, which all of them in some way are, I don't want a parent like that.
Yeah, I don't want to be a friend like that.
I don't want to be a coworker like that.
Right. I don't want to be a coworker like that. Exactly. That's not congruent with how I want to live out my values or how I want to live out my faith or how I want to show up in relationships.
And I think also what I'm hearing you saying from the very beginning of our question is that when you ignore this and just keep reacting all the time, even if it's quote unquote working for you in the moment, it seems like it is, you are going to be less and less able to operate out of what you value.
For sure. Well said.
What you value in your relationships with other people, in your work, the things that mean a lot to you, you actually can't behave based on that.
That's it. That's it.
And to me, that's enough of a reason to go, okay, I'm going to have to pause and do some work here.
Let me pause.
I want to be a person of integrity who does operate out of my values.
Yes. So we're bravely facing all that together. And maybe even owning, I do react like that to manage my anxiety. And I think I'm owning it, but I also am saying I want to practice taking that anxious energy into safe relationship next time, instead of letting that anxious energy control me through my reactivity. Here's where we're going to close out season 3. Transformation doesn't happen from avoiding or from battling or from overpowering. It comes from curiosity. It comes from connection and care and relationship. It comes from facing truth from the front with kindness and support around me, and then courageously practicing new skills over and over and over again. That's what we've all been doing together for 3 seasons, and that's what we look forward to doing more of in season 4.
It's interesting to end on this topic because I think if you had asked me even before today, like, what is the main thing that you've learned from, doing Say More and doing this work? And I think the word I would have said was pause.
Oh, well, that's a good one.
Which is funny because that's
exactly where
it. But there's been so many times I'll think of you in my head and I'll be like, I'm in a situation with my kids. What do I do? And I'm always like, I think the answer is pause. Because the answer is usually pause. Take a breath. Slow down for a second. Hang on. Let the moment breathe. And in many situations, I have noticed it's like, wait, I'm supposed to be pausing right now. What if I just paused? And that space where we pause is the opportunity to do things differently.
And that's evidence that so much of what you've been doing has been growing your capacity to pause.
I guess.
Yes.
Maybe I wasn't a good pauser before, but look at me pausing now. Look at me pausing. You too can pause. Say More listener, mom, hi, because I know you're here. We are in it together. We're doing the work. We're facing the hard stuff from the front. And like mom says, we don't avoid things just because they're hard. We're gonna be there together in a safe relationship, and we are really, truly proud and humbled to be part of that safe relationship for you. And we want you to keep learning and growing with us. So hang tight. There's going to be season 4 coming real soon. And in the meantime, enjoy your Say More Encore. And we will see you right back here for fresh learning and fresh growing real soon.